The fluorescent lights buzz overhead. Too bright, too cold. Emma Harper's eyes flutter open, and the first thing she feels is the ache, deep in her belly, radiating outward like a bruise that won't fade. The second thing she hears is the steady beep of a heart monitor, rhythmic and unforgiving. She tries to sit up. Her hands shake. "My baby," she whispers. Her throat is dry, her voice barely there. "Where's my baby?" A nurse appears at her side, gentle hands easing her back onto the pillow. "Your daughter's fine, sweetheart. 7 pounds exactly, perfect. But you lost a lot of blood. You need to rest." Emma's breath catches. Daughter. She has a daughter. But something else claws at her mind, something sharp and wrong. The delivery was chaos. She remembers pain, voices shouting, the cold rush of panic. And her phone. She'd been reaching for her phone. Her fingers fumble across the bedside table until she finds it. The screen lights up and her stomach drops. 37 unread messages, all from a number she doesn't recognize. She scrolls up, her pulse quickening. And then she sees it, the message she sent, the one she typed in the blur of labor when the contractions were so close together she could barely think. "Jake, I'm in labor. St. Catherine's Hospital. Room 412. Please come. I'm scared." But she didn't send it to Jake. The number staring back at her isn't Jake Sullivan's. It's someone else's. A wrong digit. A single careless mistake. And the replies, dozens of them, are all variations of the same thing. "On my way. Stay calm. Don't move. I'm coming there now." Emma's breath comes faster. Who did she text? Who's coming? The door to her room opens and the answer walks in. He's tall, taller than she expected, dressed in a black suit that looks like it cost more than her entire year's rent. His hair is dark, combed back with precision, and his face is all sharp angles and controlled stillness. 2 men flank him, silent and watchful, their presence filling the small room like shadows. Emma's heart hammers against her ribs. "Who are you?" she manages. The man's eyes, dark gray, unreadable, settle on her. He doesn't smile. He doesn't need to. There's something about him that commands the room without a word. "You texted me," he says. His voice is low, steady, like distant thunder. "You called me Jake." Emma's mouth goes dry. I didn't mean to. It was a mistake." "Mistakes," he says quietly, "have consequences." What kind of consequences? Emma's mind races. Who is this man? What does he want? She studies him more carefully now. The suit is custom tailored, the fabric expensive enough that she can tell even from across the room. His shoes are polished to a mirror shine. There's a watch on his wrist, sleek, silver, the kind that costs more than her car used to before it broke down for good. But it's not the wealth that unsettles her. It's the stillness, the control. He moves like a man who's never had to raise his voice to be heard. He turns toward the nursery window and Emma follows his gaze. Through the glass she can see her daughter, tiny, wrapped in white blankets, a shock of dark hair visible beneath a pink cap. The man stares at the baby for a long moment. Something flickers across his face, something Emma can't name. Pain, maybe, or memory. "She has your eyes," he says, then softer. "And now my name." Emma's breath stops. "What?" He pulls a folded paper from his jacket pocket and places it on the bed beside her. It's a birth certificate, official, stamped, baby girl Pierce. "I paid your hospital bills," he says, "all of them, surgery, recovery, the private room, consider it handled." "I didn't ask you to. You texted me for help." His gaze locks onto hers and she feels pinned in place. I don't ignore calls like that. Emma's hands curl into fists. "I don't know you. I don't want your help." For the first time, something almost like a smile touches his mouth. It's not warm. It's knowing. You don't have to want it, he says, but you have it. He turns toward the door, his men following like extensions of his will. At the threshold, he pauses. My name is Alejandro Pierce, he says, without looking back. And you should rest, Miss Harper. You're going to need your strength. The door closes. Emma stares at the birth certificate in her hands, her daughter's name written in ink that won't wash away. What have I done? Some messages can't be unsent. Some doors, once opened, can't be closed. And sometimes the wrong number is exactly the right one. The next morning comes too fast. Emma barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Alejandro Pierce's face, those steady, unblinking eyes that seemed to see straight through her. She tried researching his name on her phone, but the results were vague. A businessman? Investments? Real estate? Nothing concrete. Nothing that explained why he'd walked into her hospital room like he owned it, or why he'd claimed her daughter. She's feeding the baby, Lily, she's decided to call her, with the door opens again. This time, it's a woman. She's older than Emma, maybe early 40s, with sleek dark hair pulled into a low bun and a designer handbag slung over one shoulder. Her heels click against the linoleum floor, sharp and precise. Miss Harper, the woman says, her voice polite but firm. My name is Valentina Ricci. I work for Mr. Pierce. Emma tightens her hold on Lily. I don't want anything from him. Valentina sets a garment bag on the chair, followed by a leather tote and a sleek black phone box. Mr. Pierce doesn't wait for permission, she says evenly. He prepares. Inside, you'll find clothes for you and the baby. Comfortable, practical. The phone is prepaid and secure. Your discharge papers have been processed. I didn't agree to leave. The hospital says you're medically cleared. You have nowhere else to go. Valentina's eyes aren't cruel, but they're matter of fact. Jake Sullivan hasn't called, hasn't texted. He isn't coming. The words land like stones. Emma knows it's true. Jake left 3 months ago, 2 weeks after she told him she was pregnant. He said he wasn't ready, that it wasn't his problem, that she should figure it out. She figured it out alone. Valentina softens slightly, just a fraction. Mr. Pierce has a car waiting downstairs. A private residence has been prepared. Safe, comfortable, fully staffed. You'll have your own space. No one will bother you unless you ask. And if I say no? Valentina tilts her head, almost sympathetic. Then you leave with the baby, no money, no support, and no idea where Jake is. Mr. Pierce won't stop you, but he also won't watch you struggle. Emma's chest tightens. She looks down at Lily, so small and perfect in her arms. She thinks about her studio apartment, the one she can't afford anymore, the job she lost when morning sickness made her too unreliable, the empty savings account. Valentina steps closer, her voice dropping to something almost kind. He told me to tell you something, she says. No woman under my protection sleeps alone. Emma's throat burns. I didn't ask for his protection. He doesn't wait to be asked. 15 minutes later, Emma's in the back of a black SUV, Lily strapped securely into a brand new car seat beside her. Valentina sits in the front passenger seat, giving quiet directions to the driver. The city slides past the tinted windows, gray buildings, crowded sidewalks, people going about their ordinary lives. Emma's life hasn't been ordinary in a long time. She touches the edge of Lily's blanket, soft and impossibly clean. Her daughter's tiny fingers curl and uncurl in sleep, oblivious to the chaos around her. This isn't freedom, Emma thinks, but maybe it's survival. And for now, survival is all she has. If you've ever been caught between pride and desperation, between fear and hope, you know what Emma's feeling right now. Stay with us. Her story is just beginning. And if you're already hooked, hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss what happens next. The house isn't a house. It's a fortress disguised as elegance. Beacon Hill, old money, iron gates and manicured hedges. The SUV pulls into a circular driveway, and Emma's breath catches. The mansion rises before her, 3 stories of brick and marble with tall windows that gleam in the afternoon light. "This is where he lives," she whispers. Valentina steps out first, opening Emma's door. "This is where you'll live?" Mr. Pierce has several properties. He stays where business requires. Emma climbs out, cradling Lily against her chest. A man in a dark suit, one of the bodyguards from the hospital, waits by the front door. He nods once, silent and professional. Inside, the air smells faintly of lemon polish and fresh flowers. The foyer is all marble floors and soft lighting, a grand staircase curving upward to the second floor. It's beautiful, intimidating, nothing like the cramped apartments Emma's lived in her whole life. Emma stands frozen just inside the doorway, Lily pressed against her chest. She thinks about her studio, the peeling wallpaper, the radiator that clanked all night, the neighbor's television bleeding through thin walls. She thinks about the roaches she could never quite get rid of, no matter how much she cleaned. The single window that looked out onto a brick wall. This place has chandeliers, actual chandeliers with crystals that catch the afternoon light. This isn't real, she thinks. This can't be real. But Lily squirms in her arms, warm and solid and undeniably present, and Emma knows. This is happening, all of it. "Your room is upstairs," Valentina says, leading the way. "The nursery is adjacent, fully equipped. If you need anything, diapers, formula, clothes, just ask Marco. He's head of security." The man from the door follows at a respectful distance. Emma's room is twice the size of her old studio. A king bed with cream linens, a sitting area with a velvet sofa, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking a private garden, and through a connecting door, the nursery. Pale yellow walls, a white crib, shelves lined with books and soft toys. It's perfect. It's terrifying. "Why?" Emma asks, her voice tight. "Why is he doing this?" Valentina pauses at the door. For a moment, her professional mask slips and Emma sees something softer beneath. "Mr. Pierce lost someone very dear to him," she says quietly. "A long time ago, someone who died giving life, just like you almost did." Emma's throat tightens. "His sister." Valentina doesn't answer directly. "He doesn't talk about her, but when he saw your message, when he saw you in that hospital bed, I think he saw her." She straightens, smoothing her jacket. "Dinner is at 7. You're not required to join, but the kitchen is always available. Rest, Miss Harper. You're safe here." The door closes softly. Emma stands in the center of the room, Lily still sleeping in her arms, and for the first time since the hospital, she lets herself cry. Not from fear, not from relief, from something she can't name. That evening, Emma doesn't go down for dinner, but Alejandro Pierce comes to her. There's a knock, soft, deliberate. Emma has just finished feeding Lily and is settling her into the crib when the door opens. Alejandro stands in the doorway, still dressed in his suit, though his tie is loosened now. He doesn't enter, just stands there, watching. "You didn't eat," he says. He wasn't hungry. "That's not an option." His tone isn't harsh, but it leaves no room for argument. "You're recovering. You need food." Emma crosses her arms. "You can't order me around." "I'm not ordering. I'm stating a fact." He steps inside, but only a few feet, respecting the invisible boundary between them. His gaze shifts to Lily in the crib, and something softens in his expression. "She's beautiful." Emma's defenses falter. "She is? What are you calling her?" "Lily." He nods slowly. "Lily Pierce." "Harper," Emma corrects sharply. Lily Harper. Alejandro's eyes return to hers, and for a long moment neither of them speaks. The tension stretches taut, a wire pulled tight between them. "Why are you doing this?" Emma asks again, her voice cracking. "Why would you do this for a stranger?" Alejandro's jaw tightens. He looks away toward the window where the garden glows softly in the twilight. "Maybe I'm not saving you," he says quietly. "Maybe you're saving me." Before Emma can respond, he's gone. The door clicks shut and she's alone again, except for the lingering weight of his words. 3 days pass. Emma learns the rhythm of the house slowly, carefully. Marco brings meals to her room, simple, nourishing food she doesn't have to think about. Valentina checks in each morning, asking if she needs anything, never pushing, never prying. The nursery has everything Lily could need and more, but Emma feels like a ghost in someone else's life. On the 4th morning, Alejandro appears again. This time he's dressed more casually, dark jeans, a charcoal sweater that makes his eyes look almost silver in the morning light. He finds Emma in the garden, Lily bundled against her chest in a soft carrier. "Walk with me," he says. It's not a question, but Emma finds herself nodding anyway. They walk side by side through the garden paths, the autumn air crisp and cool. Leaves drift down from the old oak trees, gold and rust against the gray sky. For a while neither of them speaks. "This must feel strange," Alejandro says finally. "Being here." "That's one word for it." "What's another?" Emma glances at him. "Surreal. Like I'm living someone else's story." "You're living yours," he says. It just took an unexpected turn. She almost laughs. That's putting it mildly. They stop beside a fountain, a simple stone basin where water trickles over smooth rocks. Alejandro sits on the edge, and after a moment, Emma does too. Lily stirs against her chest, but doesn't wake. "You asked why I'm doing this," Alejandro says, his voice quieter now. "The truth is, I had a sister, Sophia. She was younger than me, kind, brave, full of life." His hands rest on his knees, fingers laced together. "She got pregnant, the father left. I told her I'd take care of everything, that she didn't have to be afraid." Emma's chest tightens. "She went into labor early," he continues. "Complications. By the time they got her to the hospital, it was too late. They saved the baby, a girl, but Sophia—" He stops, his jaw working. "She died giving life." The words hang in the autumn air, heavy and irreversible. Emma watches his profile, the tightness around his eyes, the way his hands grip each other like he's holding himself together through sheer will. She recognizes that look. She's worn it herself. The look of someone who's bargained with God and lost. "I was in a meeting," Alejandro says suddenly, his voice rough. "When she went into labor, my phone was off. By the time I got the message, by the time I made it to the hospital." He shakes his head. "I was 2 hours too late. 2 hours. If I'd just answered my phone. If I'd just been there." "It wasn't your fault," Emma whispers. His eyes meet hers, and she sees the disbelief there, the guilt that's carved itself into bone. "Wasn't it? I promised to protect her. I failed. You're human. Humans can't be everywhere at once. I should have been there." His voice cracks just slightly. "She called for me. The nurses said she kept asking for me, and I wasn't there." Emma's throat burns. She thinks about her own labor, the pain, the fear, the moments when she thought she might not make it. She'd called for Jake, over and over, and he never came. But this man, this stranger who received a wrong text, he came. He's still here. "I'm sorry," Emma whispers. Alejandro looks at her, and for the first time, she sees the weight he carries, the guilt, the grief, the unanswered questions. When I saw your message, he says, when I saw you alone in that hospital bleeding, afraid, I couldn't walk away. I couldn't let it happen again. Emma's throat burns. I'm not your sister. No, he agrees, but you needed help, and I needed to give it. She doesn't know what to say. The silence between them is different now, less wary, more raw. What happened to the baby? Emma asks gently. Your niece? Alejandro's expression darkens. I placed her with a family. Good people who can give her the life Sophia wanted. I see her sometimes. Birthdays, holidays, but I couldn't. He stops, his voice rough. I couldn't be what she needed. I was too angry, too broken. I thought love meant keeping people at a distance where I couldn't fail them. Emma reaches out before she can stop herself, her hand resting lightly on his arm. You're not broken. His eyes meet hers and something shifts, something neither of them is ready to name. Stay, he says. Not because I'm asking, but because you choose to. And for the first time, Emma feels the faintest flicker of something that isn't fear. It's trust. We all carry ghosts. Some haunt us with regret, some with longing. But what if the person who understands your ghost is the one who wasn't supposed to be there at all? The weeks that follow are quietly transformative. Emma begins to let her guard down, just a little. She takes Lily for walks in the garden, wrapped in soft blankets against the October chill. She eats meals in the dining room instead of hiding in her room. She even laughs. Once, when Marco accidentally knocks over a vase while trying to show her how to work the complicated espresso machine. And Alejandro is there. Not always, but often enough. He comes home in the evenings, his suit jacket slung over one shoulder, his tie loosened. He asks about Lily, about Emma's day. He never pushes, never demands, but his presence fills the spaces she didn't realize were empty. One afternoon, they're in the private park behind the estate, a small, gated green space where the city noise fades to a distant hum. Lily is awake, her wide eyes taking in the world with newborn wonder. Alejandro sits on the blanket beside Emma, his long legs stretched out, his hands resting on his knees. Can I hold her? He asks. Emma hesitates, then nods. She passes Lily over carefully, and Alejandro cradles her with surprising gentleness. His large hands dwarf the baby, but his touch is soft, reverent. Lily blinks up at him, and something in Alejandro's face cracks open, just for a moment. Hello, little one, he murmurs. You're very brave, you know that, coming into the world the way you did. Emma watches, her heart doing something complicated in her chest. You're good with her, she says quietly. Alejandro doesn't look away from Lily. I wasn't always. After Sophia died, I couldn't even look at babies. I thought I'd see her, what I lost every time. And now? Now. He pauses, his thumb brushing gently over Lily's tiny hand. Now I see what was given, not just what was taken. Emma's breath catches. That's an inspirational way to look at it. He glances at her, a faint smile tugging at his mouth. You think so? I do. They sit like that for a long time, Emma, Alejandro, and Lily between them, while the autumn light softens and the leaves rustle overhead. And for the first time in longer than Emma can remember, she feels something close to peace. Part 2. The Storm. 36 were 44 Hortis. But peace, Emma is learning, is fragile. It shatters on a rainy Thursday night. Emma is in the nursery, reading to Lily, even though the baby is too young to understand. It's become a ritual, a way to fill the quiet, to give structure to days that sometimes feel too shapeless. The first sign is the sound of car engines, multiple, urgent, pulling up to the gate. Then Marco's voice in the hallway, sharp and clipped. Lockdown. Now? Emma's pulse spikes. She moves to the door, cracking it open. Marco's at the top of the stairs, phone pressed to his ear. North entrance secured. I've got the principal's family on the second floor. Principal's family. That's her. That's Lily. What's happening? Emma calls out. Marco turns, his face grim. Stay in the nursery, Miss Harper. Lock the door. Don't come out until I tell you. Marco, lock the door. She does. Her hands shake as she turns the deadbolt, then pulls Lily from the crib and holds her close. The baby fusses, sensing her mother's fear. Outside, the rain pounds against the windows, and then crack, crack, crack. Gunshots, distant, but unmistakable. Emma's breath stops. She sinks to the floor, her back against the wall, Lily pressed to her chest. Minutes crawl by. She hears footsteps, heavy, rapid, voices shouting in Italian, more shots, closer this time. Then silence. The kind of silence that feels worse than the noise. Emma's mind races. Is Alejandro hurt? Is Marco? What if they come for Lily? She looks around the nursery desperately. The window, too high. The closet, too obvious. The door, locked but not invincible. There's nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. All she can do is hold her daughter and pray. Lily whimpers, and Emma rocks her gently, humming a tuneless melody that's more vibration than song. Shh, baby. Shh. Mama's here. Mama's here. But she's terrified. More terrified than she's ever been, even more than labor, even more than Jake leaving. Because this isn't about her anymore. This is about Lily, about keeping her daughter safe in a world that suddenly feels far more dangerous than Emma ever imagined. What have I brought her into? 20 minutes later, the deadbolt clicks from the outside. Emma scrambles to her feet, her heart in her throat. The door opens. Alejandro stands there, his suit jacket gone, his white shirt streaked with blood. His face is hard, carved from stone, but his eyes, when they find Emma and Lily, soften just slightly. Are you hurt? He asks. Emma can barely speak. No. What? What happened? Business? His tone is clipped. Final? That's not an answer. He steps into the room, closing the door behind him. For a moment, he just stands there, looking at them. At Emma, holding Lily. Both of them safe, both of them whole. One of my men betrayed us, he says finally. He tried to sell information to a rival family, information about shipments, locations. He pauses. About this house, about you. Emma's blood runs cold. About us. I handled it. How? But she already knows. She sees it in the tension of his shoulders, the blood on his shirt. You killed him. Alejandro doesn't deny it. He put you at risk. He put Lily at risk. Yes, I killed him. The words land like stones. Emma's hands shake. Get out! Emma, get out! Her voice cracks. I need you to leave. Now! For a long moment, he doesn't move. Then slowly he nods. Marco will be outside your door all night, he says quietly. You're safe. Am I? Tears burn her eyes. How can I be safe when violence follows you everywhere? Alejandro's jaw tightens. This is the world I live in, the world that keeps you fed and sheltered and protected. You call it business, I call it murder. And yet you're safe because of it, he says, his voice harder now. Do you think kindness would have stopped that man? Do you think asking nicely would have made him change his mind? This world isn't kind, Emma. It doesn't hand out second chances for free. Then my daughter will never be safe, Emma whispers, tears streaming down her face. Not really. Not as long as we're here. Alejandro's expression shifts, something raw flickering across his face. Pain. Regret. I would die before I let anything happen to her. That's not enough, Emma says. Dying doesn't make you a good man, living does. The silence that follows is suffocating. Alejandro looks at her one last time, a look that carries everything he can't say. Then he turns and walks out, the door closing softly behind him. Emma sinks back to the floor, Lily crying now, both of them surrounded by the wreckage of something that was starting to feel like hope. Outside, the rain hammers against the windows, relentless and cold, and somewhere in the distance, sirens wail. Too late, always too late. Love isn't built on secrets, it's built on truth. Even when the truth is the hardest thing to face. The morning after the storm, Emma makes a decision. She can't stay. Not like this. Not in a gilded cage where safety comes at the cost of truth. But the decision doesn't come easily. She sits in the rocking chair for hours after Lily falls asleep, watching the sunrise paint the garden gold and rose. Part of her wants to stay. The part that's tired. The part that's scared. The part that remembers what it felt like to be hungry, to choose between electricity and groceries, to wonder if she'd have a place to sleep tomorrow. Alejandro has given her security, comfort, a home more beautiful than anything she'd ever dreamed of having. But homes built on violence aren't really homes at all. Are they? She thinks about Lily growing up here, learning that power means control, that love means possession, that the way to solve problems is with guns and locked doors and men in dark suits who follow your every move. No, Emma decides. Not for my daughter. She packs light, just a diaper bag, a few changes of clothes for Lily, the emergency cash Valentina gave her weeks ago, just in case. Her hands don't shake. She's made her choice. And there's a strange calm that comes with certainty, even if it's terrifying. She waits until noon, when Marco usually takes his lunch break and the house feels quieter. Valentina knocks on her door at 11:30. "Miss Harper," she says, her tone polite but firm. "Mr. Pierce would like to speak with you." "Tell him I'm resting. He's insisting." Emma lifts her chin. "Then he'll have to wait." Valentina studies her for a long moment. Then softly, "He's not a monster, you know. He's just a man trying to do right by the people he cares about. He doesn't care about me, he cares about his guilt." "Maybe," Valentina says. "But guilt can be motivational too. It can make us better than we were." She leaves before Emma can respond. At 12:15, Emma slips out through the back garden gate, Lily bundled against her chest. The streets of Beacon Hill are quiet, lined with brownstones and old trees. She keeps her head down, her pace quick but not frantic. She's 3 blocks away when she realizes she's being followed. Not closely, not obviously, but there. A dark sedan, moving slowly along the curb, keeping pace with her steps. Her pulse spikes. She ducks into a children's boutique called Little Dreams, the bell chiming overhead. A young saleswoman looks up with a smile. "Can I help you find something?" "Just browsing," Emma says, her voice tight. She pretends to examine a display of strollers, her eyes on the window. Through the glass, she sees Marco step out of the sedan. He doesn't look angry, just watchful. Their eyes meet for a brief second. Emma's heart pounds. She glances around. There, at the back of the store, a door marked "Staff Only." "Excuse me," she says to the saleswoman, already moving. "Is there a restroom?" "Through that door, then left." Emma doesn't wait for the rest. She pushes through the staff door, finds herself in a narrow hallway lined with boxes. An exit sign glows green at the far end. She runs. Her lungs burn. Lily bounces against her chest with each step, and Emma whispers frantic apologies. "Sorry, baby, sorry, we're almost safe." But are they? Will they ever be? Out into an alley, her breath coming fast and sharp. Lily starts to fuss, sensing her mother's panic. Emma presses a kiss to her daughter's head. breathing in that sweet baby smell, powder and milk and innocence. It's okay, baby. We're okay. Are we, though? A voice in her head asks. Where are we going? How long will that cash last? What happens when it runs out? She pushes the thoughts away, one problem at a time. First, distance, then safety, then everything else. She makes it to the train station just as a southbound train pulls in. She buys a ticket to nowhere, just away, and climbs aboard, finding a seat in the back corner. As the train pulls out, she looks through the window and sees Marco standing on the platform. He doesn't chase her, doesn't call out, he just watches her go. And for a moment, Emma thinks she sees something in his expression. Not anger, not judgment, understanding. The motel is cheap. $40 a night, stained carpet, a window that doesn't lock properly. But it's hers. Emma sits on the edge of the bed, Lily asleep in a makeshift nest of pillows beside her. The television flickers quietly in the corner, some old sitcom she's not watching. She saved her daughter. She got them out. So why does she feel so empty? There's a knock at the door, sharp, insistent. Emma's pulse jumps. She moves to the peephole, expecting Marco, expecting Valentina. But the face staring back at her is one she hasn't seen in 4 months. Jake Sullivan. Her hand freezes on the doorknob. For a moment she can't breathe. Another knock. Emma, I know you're in there. I saw the baby carrier through the window. Against every instinct, she opens the door. Jake looks different, thinner. His hair is longer, unkempt. There are shadows under his eyes that weren't there before. He's wearing the same leather jacket he wore the night he left, the one he said made him look like he had his life together. He doesn't look like he has his life together anymore, and Emma feels nothing. No flutter in her chest, no anger, no longing, no residual ache. Just a distant recognition, like seeing a photograph of someone she used to know. Hi, he says, his voice rough. Can I come in? Emma's hand tightens on the door. How did you find me? I've been trying to find you for weeks. Your old apartment was empty. I went to the hospital. They said you'd been discharged, but wouldn't say where. He runs a hand through his hair, and Emma recognizes the gesture. It's what he does when he's nervous, when he's about to ask for something he knows he doesn't deserve. Then I saw you at the train station this afternoon. I followed you here. Emma's stomach twists. You followed me? I had to talk to you. He glances past her at Lily sleeping on the bed. Something flickers across his face, pain, regret. Something Emma can't name. That's her, isn't it? Our daughter. My daughter. Emma. You left, Jake. You said it wasn't your problem. You told me to figure it out alone. Her voice shakes. So I did. I know, and I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry. He takes a step closer. I was scared. I panicked. But I've been thinking about you every day, about what I gave up, about what I should have. It's too late. Is it? His eyes search hers. Because I'm here now. I want to try. I want to be a father. I want to be with you. Emma's chest tightens. 3 months ago, she would have given anything to hear these words. 3 months ago, she was alone and afraid and desperate for someone, anyone to choose her. But now? You don't get to walk back in, she says quietly, not after everything. Emma, please, I made a mistake. Let me fix it. Before she can respond, there's another knock. Firmer, more controlled. Emma's heart does something complicated. Relief and apprehension tangled together. She opens the door wider, and Alejandro stands in the hallway. His eyes take in the scene immediately. Jake standing too close, Emma's defensive posture, the tension thick enough to cut. His expression goes cold, dangerous. But when his gaze finds Emma's, she sees the question there. Do you need me to handle this? Or do you want to? It's the question that matters. Not the answer, the question itself. Who are you? Jake asks, stepping forward, trying to reclaim some territory. Alejandro doesn't answer. His gaze locks onto Emma. Are you all right? I'm fine. He nods once, accepting her answer without challenge. But he doesn't leave. He stays right where he is, present, protective, but letting her lead. Is this him? Alejandro asks, his voice quiet but lethal. The one who left you? Jake's face flushes. Who the hell are you? I'm the one who was there, Alejandro says simply. When you weren't. The words land like a punch. Jake's hands curl into fists. Emma, Jake says, his voice rising. You don't need him. Whatever he's told you, whatever he's promised. I'm the baby's father. I have rights. You gave up those rights when you walked away, Emma says, her voice stronger now. You don't get to claim her now because it's convenient. Convenient? Jake's face twists. I came back. I'm here. Doesn't that count for something? No, Emma says. It doesn't. Alejandro moves then, placing himself subtly between Jake and Emma. You need to leave. Jake bristles. You can't tell me what to do. I'm not telling you. I'm giving you a choice. Alejandro's voice is calm, controlled, but there's steel beneath it. You can walk away now with your pride intact, or I can make you leave, and you won't like how that feels. For a moment, Jake looks like he might argue. Then he sees something in Alejandro's face, something that makes him take a step back. This isn't over, Jake says, looking at Emma. I'm not giving up. There's nothing to give up, Emma says. There never was. Jake stands there for another moment, jaw tight, hands shaking. Then he turns and walks away, his footsteps echoing down the hallway. The door closes. Emma's legs give out, and she sinks onto the bed. Alejandro doesn't move closer, doesn't assume. He just stands there, waiting. Thank you, Emma whispers. For what? For letting me handle it. For not. She stops, swallowing hard. For not making that choice for me. Alejandro's expression softens. It was always your choice to make. Her phone buzzes, the secure one Valentina gave her. She pulls it out, seeing the messages she'd ignored earlier. You're at the Riverside Motel, room 14. I know because Marco followed you. I told him not to stop you. But I need to know you're safe. Please, just let me come talk. No guards. No control. Just me. Emma looks up at Alejandro standing in her cheap motel room, having just faced down her past without violence or threats. Just steady, quiet protection. You came alone, she says, just like you promised. I keep my promises. Emma nods slowly, her heart still racing from the confrontation. Jake showing up like that. I thought I'd feel something, regret maybe, or anger, but all I felt was, she searches for the word, relief, that I didn't need him anymore, that I don't need anyone to save me. You never did, Alejandro says quietly, but I wanted someone to choose me, to stay. She looks at him, really looks at him, this man who walked into her hospital room 4 months ago and changed everything. You chose me, when I was a stranger, when you had no reason to. I had every reason. He moves closer now, slowly, giving her space to retreat if she wants. She doesn't. When I saw your text, when I saw you in that hospital bed, bleeding and alone, I saw my sister, I saw my failure. But I also saw a chance to do what I couldn't do before, to show up, to be there, to not be 2 hours too late. Emma's throat tightens. I'm not your redemption, Alejandro. No, he agrees. But you gave me a reason to try again, to believe I could be more than my worst moment. She reaches for his hand, their fingers intertwining. His hand is warm, solid. real. You could have stopped me, Emma says. When Jake showed up, you could have thrown him out yourself, made it about your claim, your territory. But that wouldn't have been your choice. Why does my choice matter so much to you? Because control isn't love. His voice is raw, stripped of pretense. And I don't want to control you, Emma. I never did. She crosses her arms, a weak defense against the ache building in her chest. You lied to me. I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you everything. That's the same thing. Maybe. He exhales slowly. But I'm telling you now. Yes, I'm involved in things most people would call criminal. I run a family built on loyalty and protection. I make decisions that keep people safe, even when those decisions aren't clean. But I've never harmed an innocent person, and I never will. How do I know that's true? Because you're still here, he says quietly. Because if I were the monster you think I am, you wouldn't have let me through that door. Emma's throat tightens. You scared me. I know, and I'm sorry. He steps closer, but not too close. You asked me once why I was doing this, and I told you, maybe you're saving me. I meant it. I've spent years building walls, keeping people out, telling myself it was safer that way, and then you texted me by mistake, and everything I thought I knew shifted. Tears prick her eyes. I can't live in a world of secrets. Then I won't keep any from you. His gaze holds hers, steady and sure. Ask me anything. I'll tell you the truth. Do you hurt people? Sometimes, when they hurt others first. Do you kill? His jaw tightens. Yes, but only to protect, never for power. The honesty is brutal, but it's real. Why do you care so much about Lily? She asks, her voice breaking. About me? Alejandro's eyes soften. Because you remind me of what I lost and what I could still have. Because when I look at Lily, I don't see my failure anymore. I see hope. And when I look at you, he stops, his voice catching. When I look at you, I see someone worth becoming better for. Emma's breath hitches. You can't just say things like that. Why not? Because it makes it harder to leave. Then don't leave. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a folded piece of paper, the birth certificate. He sets it on the bed beside Lily. This is yours. Always was. I should have given it to you from the start. You get to decide what her name is, what your life looks like. I won't interfere. Emma picks up the paper, her hands trembling. And if I leave for good? Then I'll make sure you have everything you need. Money, support, safety. His voice drops. But wherever you go, my protection goes with you. Not because you're mine, but because you deserve it. You can't protect what you don't own, she whispers. Alejandro's expression cracks just a little. I don't want to own you, Emma. I want to deserve you. The words hang in the air, fragile and true. Emma looks at Lily, then at the birth certificate in her hands, and slowly she picks up a pen from the nightstand and writes, Liliana Emma Harper Pierce. She hands it back to him. Her name is Lily, she says, but she can carry both of us. Alejandro's throat works. What does that mean? It means... Emma takes a breath, then looks down at Lily, still sleeping peacefully on the bed. On the baby's tiny wrist is a delicate silver bracelet, something Emma hadn't noticed before. She picks up Lily's hand, gently examining it. Engraved in careful script, Pierce. When did you... Emma's voice catches. The hospital, Alejandro says quietly. Before I even knew your name, I wanted her to have something. A protection, a promise. Emma's fingers trace the engraving. Such a small thing. Such a permanent claim. But looking at it now, it doesn't feel like ownership. It feels like connection. It means I'm not running anymore, she says finally, still holding Lily's tiny hand. But I'm not staying out of fear. I'm staying because I'm choosing to. Because maybe mistakes aren't accidents. Maybe they're doors. She looks up at him, tears in her eyes, but a smile on her lips. Alejandro's expression cracks completely. That's all I wanted. He crosses the small room and kneels beside the bed, his hand covering hers where it rests on Lily's bracelet. She can keep it, Emma whispers. The name, the bracelet, all of it, as long as you promise me something. Anything. That you'll keep choosing to be the man who deserves us, not the one who owns us. I promise, he says, every day, for the rest of my life. 3 months later, the house on Beacon Hill feels different now, lighter. The iron gates are still there, the security still present, but Emma doesn't feel trapped anymore. She's made it hers. There's a rocking chair by the nursery window where she reads to Lily every night. There's a corner of the garden where she planted flowers, small, hopeful things that will bloom in spring. Tulips and daffodils, bright bursts of color against the old stone walls. And there's a space at the kitchen table where Alejandro sits every morning, drinking espresso and asking about her day. Not interrogating, not controlling, just asking, caring, being present. Emma has learned the difference between protection and possession, between love and control. Alejandro shows her every day in small ways, asking instead of demanding, offering instead of dictating, stepping back when she needs space, and stepping forward when she needs support. They're building something, slowly, carefully. It's not perfect. Alejandro still keeps parts of his world separate, not from secrecy, but from protection. And Emma still has moments where fear creeps in, where she wonders if she's made the right choice. Late at night, when sirens wail in the distance, or when Alejandro comes home with tension written across his shoulders, she wonders, is this sustainable? Can love really bridge two such different worlds? But then Lily laughs. Or Alejandro brings home a ridiculously oversized stuffed bear, just because. Or Valentina stops by with fresh pastries and stays for coffee, no longer a guard but a friend. One afternoon, Emma finds Valentina and Marco in the kitchen, speaking in low Italian. They stop when she enters, but not before she catches the warmth in their voices. "Were you talking about me?" Emma asks, half teasing. Valentina doesn't deny it. She sets down her espresso cup and meets Emma's eyes. "I was telling Marco that I've worked for Alejandro for 8 years. I've seen him close deals, handle crises, command rooms full of dangerous men." She pauses. "But I've never seen him happy. Not until you." Marco nods, his normally stern face softening. The boss is different now, lighter, like he remembers there's more to protect than just territory and honor. Emma's throat tightens. "I'm not trying to change him." "You're not changing him," Valentina says gently. "You're reminding him who he wanted to be. There's a difference." And Emma remembers. This is what healing looks like. One morning, Emma finds Alejandro in the garden, sitting on the stone bench where they first talked months ago. The early light is soft, golden, spilling through the trees. He's looking at his phone, and there's something different in his expression, something lighter. "Can't sleep?" she asks, settling beside him. "Just thinking." He turns the phone toward her. On the screen is a photo. A little girl, maybe 4 years old, with dark curls and Alejandro's eyes. She's holding a birthday cake, her smile wide and uninhibited. "Your niece," Emma says softly. "Sophia's daughter." Alejandro nods. "Her name is Isabella. Her birthday was last week. I sent a gift, but I didn't go. I never go." He pauses, his thumb brushing over the photo. "But I'm thinking maybe it's time. Maybe I'm ready to be the uncle she deserves. not just the stranger who shows up with presents. Emma's heart swells. What changed? You did. Lily did. He looks at her, and there's vulnerability in his eyes. You showed me that love isn't about avoiding failure. It's about showing up anyway. She takes his hand, lacing their fingers together. Then let's show up together. Isabella should know her cousin. Alejandro's throat works with emotion. You'd do that? Of course, she's family. Emma smiles. And family shows up. Emma smiles. It wasn't wrong. It was exactly right. You believe that? I do. She reaches for his hand, lacing their fingers together. You know what I realized? Mistakes aren't accidents, they're doors. We just have to be brave enough to walk through them. Alejandro squeezes her hand gently. You're the brave one. We both are. They sit in silence for a while, the world waking up around them. Birds begin their morning songs. The sky shifts from gray to rose to gold. I love you, Alejandro says quietly. I don't know if I've said that out loud before, but I do. Emma's heart swells. I love you too, even though you're complicated. Especially because I'm complicated. She laughs, leaning her head against his shoulder. Fair enough. From inside the house, they hear it. Lily's soft cry, the sound of their daughter waking. Alejandro stands, offering Emma his hand. Together they walk back inside. In the nursery, Lily is awake in her crib, her tiny fists waving. When she sees them, her face transforms, a wide, gummy smile that lights up the entire room. Alejandro reaches down and lifts her carefully, cradling her against his chest. Good morning, little one. And Lily, almost as if she understands something the adults can't quite name, smiles even wider, her small hand reaching up to touch his face. Emma watches them, her heart so full it aches. The silver bracelet catches the morning light. Pierce, a name Lily will carry with pride now, not as a claim, but as a choice. Welcome home, Emma whispers, though she's not sure if she's saying it to Lily or to Alejandro or to herself. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe home isn't a place, maybe it's just this. Dawn light streaming through windows, a baby's smile, and two people choosing each other over and over again. The curtains flutter in the morning breeze, soft and warm. Outside, the world continues its ordinary chaos. But here, in this moment, there is only peace, only love, only the beginning of something that finally, beautifully, feels like forever. Thank you for walking this journey with Emma and Alejandro. If their story moved you, if you believe in second chances, earned love, and the courage to choose trust over fear, please share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more stories of romance, redemption, and hope. And remember, sometimes the wrong number is the right call. Sweet dreams. And may your mornings always be filled with light.